What are you looking at, butthead?
All right. So this is a, as you may have guessed, hopefully this is a joke movie that I watched. This is on something I seriously wanted to see. But this is Glitter from 2001, the Mariah Carey movie. And the reason I watched it was because one of my favorite podcasts I listen to is How Did This Get Made? That has Paul Scheer from The League and Jason Mantzoukas, who's also in The League, and then another comedian, June Diane Raphael. And so they watch these really bad movies, and then they get another comedian on with them, and they all discuss the movie and go through, and it's extremely funny. It's fun to listen to. A lot of movies I'd already seen, so I knew what they're talking about, and a couple I just watched because of the podcast, and this is one of them. You know, I think anybody my age or around my age knows about this movie and what a disaster it was, but I feel like you had to be young enough, or I guess like Mariah Carey enough to know about this, because it got buried real quick and pretty well. So this was obviously a huge disaster when it came out. And she had Mariah Carey. If you don't know, Mariah Carey is one of the best-selling musical artists in the world, and you probably know who she is because she's a good singer. But after this came out, she had her mental / nervous breakdown, which is also, I guess, was pretty well publicized. So I think this may have something to do with that. It's really bad. So yeah, that's the background of why I watched this garbage. But so this is like Mariah Carey's Purple Rain or her 8 Mile movie, you know, with drastically different results and much worse than either of those. So she plays a singer named Billy Frank, and I think she's in New York. And one of the funny things is, and they talk about this on the podcast, I'll have to make a link in my review to that so you can listen to it. Listening to that is much better than watching any of this, so I'd recommend that, and I'll say that again towards the end, I guess. But it's set in 1983. It's just like on the bottom of the screen it shows a little subtitle, 1983, except there's nothing about it that's 80s. It's just, it seems 90s or something like that. So that's weird, one weird thing. So she's singer Billy Frank, and she has 2 friends. One of them's played by Da Brat. You might recognize her as a rapper from the 90s. She has 2 friends, and they're dancers, and they just randomly get recognized by Terrence Howard's character, and he's like a manager, and he's managing a singer named Silk, who, funny, is played by Padma Lakshmi, who you probably recognize from Top Chef. She's the one judge, the model. So she's like a singer that's being produced by Terrence Howard's character, and they want Billy Frank, Mariah Carey's character, and her 3 friends, to be backup singers for her. So that's how they start. And eventually they hear Mariah Carey, Billy Frank singing, and he starts using her vocals as Silk's singing, and it's got like a Milli Vanilli type thing going on, you know. So then eventually there's a DJ at this, seemingly there's that one club the whole time. His name's Julian Dice. Everybody calls him Dice. And he hears Billy and recognizes that she's the one really singing and that she has a great voice, and so he's gonna buy her contract and make her a huge star. And that's what he does. And I didn't recognize this actor either. The guy who plays Dice, Max Beasley. But the whole time I thought he was doing an impression, or he sounds exactly like Mark Wahlberg the whole time. It's just funny because sometimes I was like, is that Mark Wahlberg? It sounds just like him. I don't know if he was doing a Marky Mark impression or what, but that's what he sounds like the whole time. But anyways, so he discovers her, and she starts to become a superstar, and you know they start a relationship together, Dice and Billy Frank, and It's about her rise to stardom, and then their uh, fiery relationship and their love story. But none of that happens. It's just so there's absolutely no substance to this movie or the story. It seems like it should follow like a basic storyline for like a rockumentary or a biopic or something, but it doesn't. It's just so bad. Um, Everything's just super emotionally flat. I mean, there's no good acting in it at all. Um, I thought the most surprising thing was that all of the songs are awful. I mean, Mariah Carey's an amazing singer, and everything they have her do is just crap. There's not a single good song in this whole movie. And they don't really even show that many in the first place. You think, well, she's not an actor, she's a singer, let's have her singing a lot. Nope. No, we don't show her performing. She does like at the end, the very end, and that's okay. That's like her biggest performance. But like, we'll just let her try to act around this garbage script. That's so bad. I thought that was surprising. That was a surprising way for the director to go. Let's not have her sing. And then they try to put like a bunch of like emotional stuff happen in like the last 15 minutes or so. They try to overload the end with like all of the emotional hits that you can, and it doesn't work either. It's really slow and it's really boring. I thought it was funny. They show Billy Frank with a cat like in the first 15 minutes when she's little. Um, there's like a side story with her mom as well, and her friends that are her singers with her or dancers or whatever. They grew up together like in an orphanage or something. And when she gets there, she has a cat with her, and then that same cat shows up like an hour and 15 minutes later into the movie at the very end, like just randomly shows up again. You only see it twice. But it's really funny because it's very obvious because she's holding it both times. I thought that was funny. But yeah, whatever you do, stay away from this at all costs. Do not ever watch this. There's a reason it's known as one of the worst movies ever. And it's not even on the level of it's so bad it's good. It's just plain bad. It's awful. So yeah, I'll definitely just listen to the podcast if you don't listen to podcasts. If you do and you want to listen to a good one, and you like movies and comedy, it's really funny. I definitely check out How'd This Get Made. It was one of the last ones that they did. So easy, should be easy to find. I'll try to put a link to it. So yeah, I gave it a 1. I gave it a 1 out of 5. It's garbage. So yeah, stay away from glitter.